Imagine walking into a room where every pair of eyes turns to you, not with welcome, but with judgment. That's exactly what happened the first day Emma walked into the high school cafeteria. She was the new girl, the one everyone whispers about but no one truly knows. The moment she stepped inside, tray trembling in her hands, 3 boys in the back corner decided she would be their entertainment. What happened just minutes later, however, silenced the entire cafeteria, and left every student rethinking the way they treated others. If you're watching this right now, stay until the end, because this story will touch your heart and change the way you see people forever. And if it does, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like these deserve to be shared. Emma had just moved from a small town after her dad's sudden transfer. Everything about the big city high school was new, intimidating, and loud. She walked into the cafeteria clutching her tray with a shaky smile, scanning the sea of unfamiliar faces. It wasn't long before 3 boys spotted her: Jake, Tyler, and Mason, notorious pranksters who thrived on making others squirm. "Look at her clothes, straight out of the thrift shop," one of them said loudly. The table around them burst into laughter. "Careful, guys, don't trip over her giant shoes," another added, pointing at her worn sneakers. Emma's face flushed red, but she kept walking, hoping to find a quiet corner where no one would notice her. The boys weren't done. They trailed her with jeers, mimicking the way she walked, exaggerating her shy posture. The cafeteria grew quieter as more students noticed the spectacle. Emma sat down at the farthest table, trying to blink away tears, her hands gripping her tray so tightly her knuckles turned white. For a moment, she considered running out, maybe even skipping lunch altogether. But then, she heard her dad's words from that morning: "Be strong, Emma. Sometimes people don't see your worth right away. But the right moment will come, and when it does, show them who you are." When Jake reached out and tipped her milk carton over, spilling it across the table, something inside Emma snapped. She stood up, her voice firm though her body trembled. Enough. The word wasn't shouted, but it carried a weight that made everyone pause. "You think you know me because of my clothes. Because I sit alone. You don't know the first thing about me." Her voice cracked but grew stronger as she continued. "Do you know what it's like to leave behind every friend you've ever had? To watch your mom cry because she had to quit her job, or to see your dad work late every night just so you can have a place to live? You don't know, because you never asked. You just decided I was worth mocking." The cafeteria was silent. The laughter had evaporated, leaving only the sound of Emma's trembling words. The boys froze, their smirks fading into something unrecognizable: guilt. A few students shifted uncomfortably, suddenly remembering times they had stood by and laughed when someone else was humiliated. Emma, with tears shining in her eyes, added softly, "I may not have the newest shoes or the coolest clothes, but I have respect for people. And if that makes me different, then I'm glad to be different." For a long moment, no one moved. Then, from the far side of the cafeteria, a girl named Sarah, one of the most popular students in school, stood up. She walked over to Emma's table and placed her tray down beside hers. "Mind if I sit here?" she asked with a kind smile. Emma blinked, unsure how to respond, but nodded. One by one, other students followed. Chairs scraped the floor as kids abandoned their usual cliques to sit near the girl they had just witnessed. Stand up for herself in the face of cruelty. Even a few teachers who had overheard the confrontation nodded approvingly from the hallway. The 3 boys were left standing, suddenly small in the crowd that no longer found their jokes funny. Jake muttered something under his breath and slunk back to his table, his face red. For the first time, they realized their entertainment had backfired, and the whole school had seen it. From that day on, Emma wasn't the new girl. She became the girl who had spoken truth when others stayed silent, the girl who reminded everyone that kindness mattered more than appearances. Over time, she built friendships stronger than she could have imagined, not because she tried to fit in, but because she had the courage to be real. And as for Jake, Tyler, and Mason, they learned a lesson they wouldn't forget, one that no teacher could have taught better than the moment Emma stood up to them. So when you think your voice doesn't matter, remember Emma's story. Sometimes all it takes is a few trembling words of truth to silence cruelty and inspire change. And if this story moved you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories that remind us of the strength we all carry inside. Because at the end of the day, we all need to be reminded, kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything.